When I came for orientation, I chose to stay overnight just to be like, oh, like, I'm not getting the dorm dynamic, so I'm given the opportunity, why not? And I hated it. Like, I hated the communal bathroom.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of coming back and someone random I didn't know being there.
They say college is the best 4 years of your life, and where you live and who you live with is a big part of what makes it so great. I'm Laura. I talk with students across the country about their college living experiences, the good, the bad, and the memorable, so you can learn from them and truly make these your best 4. Rambler College Park is a new student apartment opening near the University of Maryland fall 2027. With floor plan options that range from studio to 5 bedrooms, there's a perfect layout for every lifestyle. Designed with Maryland students in mind, you'll find curated interiors and next-level amenities that make everyday living feel effortless. Think courtyards, a heated outdoor spa, a state-of-the-art fitness center and yoga studio, a dedicated study lounge, and an on-site coffee shop, Daydreamer Cafe. Be sure to join the VIP list so you're the first to know when Rambler starts leasing on their website, ramblercollegepark.com. Again, that's ramblercollegepark.com. Today, I'm here with Kelsi. Hi, Kelsi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Good. I'm so excited to dive into your housing journey here at UMD so far. But first, let's talk about you. Tell me where you're from. What's your major?
I'm from Salisbury, Maryland, which is about 30 minutes away from Ocean City, Maryland, which is what's really known for our area. And I'm a hearing and speech science major.
Cool. Talk to me about your decision to go to UMD.
I am really close with my family, so that was my major decision as to where I wanted to go, what location I wanted to be in. And University of Maryland is about 2 hours away from home, so I know it was a manageable drive for me.
Yeah.
So that was definitely like the major thing that I really wanted to consider.
Did you always think that you were going to end up at UMD, or did you apply to other schools?
I applied to 3 schools. I applied to here and then Towson, and I applied to my hometown college. So I had a few things that I could go back and forth with, but I ended up here. So
talk to me about, did you like tour campus at all before coming to UMD, or you kind of got in and you were like, yeah, no, I'm going to go?
I came for the like orientation that they have in the winter just to see if the campus really spoke to me and felt like home. That was one of the really major things. I toured all the other campuses that I applied to, and ultimately it was just where felt the most comforting and really spoke to me. So I came here, and ultimately, like, I just knew stepping on the campus that it was somewhere where I knew that I would really have a lot of fun and feel it was a home away from home. So I really loved that. And then after that, all I had to do was wait to see if I got in, and I did. So
yay. And now we're here.
Yeah.
So you said that you're very family oriented. Do you have younger siblings, older siblings?
I'm the oldest of 4.
Okay.
So everyone else is younger than me. So I was the first to leave the house and go off on my own.
Yeah.
So that definitely made it really hard.
Yeah.
Just because I've grown up with someone always there, whether it was my parents or then when I became a big sister. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much did you know about housing at UMD before you came to school here?
I knew a little bit because I have friends that ended up coming here. So that definitely helped. They lived in a dorm their first year, so I was able to see their experiences and what they loved versus they didn't love as much.
Yeah.
But other than that, I came in, I'd say, with decent knowledge, as much as everyone else knows when they come.
Yeah. And how did you research like housing?
University of Maryland definitely offers a lot of information on their websites as of what they have to offer, the different dorms that they have on campus, where they're located. A really big thing was pricing.
Yeah.
Like if you were to live in a dorm, how much the food plans are, because they do give you choices of what you can choose.
Yeah.
So they do offer a lot of information on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how do you like learn though about like the culture of the actual dorms and like campus? Like,
I think it's majority like off of other people's experiences, like hearing what people have to say about like their time here when they were a freshman, or even seeing like on social media what people post about what they do around here and the different things you can become involved in. So yeah, ultimately it's just off of other people's
yeah.
experiences.
Did you like research on like TikTok or Instagram about UMD before
Yeah, it
coming
was
here?
definitely fun to see all my friends, like what they would do and all their posts. Mainly it was like at the end of the semester, people would do their like semester dumps on
Yeah.
Instagram, or like their TikToks when they go out, or like their day in a life. Like those are really fun to watch. I do
Yeah.
like them.
And so you had friends that lived in a dorm, but ultimately you chose not to live in a dorm. So
Yeah.
talk to me about that decision.
So I chose to live in an apartment because I have shared a room with my younger sister for about 10 years now.
Wow, yeah.
So having my own space was ultimately very foreign to me. Like as long as I can remember, like I've just always had a roommate, someone there.
Yeah.
So when I obviously researched what dorm life was like, but I just didn't feel like that was for me. So then I looked into what it would be like to be in an apartment, and that really did speak to me. That was like bells to my ears. Like I
Yeah.
just loved the idea of it.
What exactly like spoke to you about apartment life?
Definitely the independence. I think that was a big thing, only because in a dorm, like it was like sharing a room with my sister. Someone was always going to be there, whether it was your roommate or the people you made friends with across the hall. But I just really liked how I would be on my own and how I could make my own meals and
Yeah.
be by myself if I just needed a minute to recollect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does UMD offer like single dorms?
They do, but only if you have a medical note from your practitioner. Yeah.
Okay. So you ended up in an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about that whole process, like finding an apartment and applying and everything. Like when did you start?
I want to say I started right after I found out that I made it into UMD, and that's like the hardest part is you do have to wait only because you have to sign a lease and put
Right.
down like down payments. So that was that made it a little harder because at that point, most people who were already living in the area had re-signed their lease or talked with other people that they were going to sign a lease.
Yeah.
But I just looked up the different apartments in the area, and then all the websites do provide like photos of them online, but you can also schedule to do tours of the apartments.
Did you do that?
I did not, but the people that I live with now did. So they
Okay.
FaceTimed me and like showed me like an actual representation of like how big the rooms
Yeah.
are in person. So that was really nice.
So were your roommates already at UMD?
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about that.
So 2 of my roommates are currently juniors,
Okay.
and then one of them is a senior, so they're going to be leaving me next year.
Yeah.
But they, like I said, they lived in a dorm all their freshman years, so they were ready to get out there and be on their own.
Yeah.
Have their own space.
Yeah. Did you know them from high school or how did you know them?
My one roommate is my best friend. I've been friends with her for about 10 years now.
Wow, yeah.
So that was really fun. And then the one who's a senior, I knew of her through my best friend because we all used to dance at the same place. And then the other roommate that's a junior this year, she was friends with my best friend. So it was all kind of like a full circle moment.
Yeah, yeah. So since your roommates were already at UMD, were they the ones that decided to live at the View or did you have a say at all?
It was really nice because we all had a say because a lot, like we wanted to consider if like where everyone could afford, where everyone really liked, like the area. So yeah, we really did consider everyone's decision, and they didn't leave me out because I wasn't there.
Do you remember what other apartments you guys were thinking about?
I think we looked at the standard and then the varsity because the varsity is near where we live currently.
Yeah.
But we did look at like the standard and landmark, which they're in 2 opposite directions of each other.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So why did you end up in the area where the View and like the varsity are?
We chose the View partially because of the cost. They offered you a lot of the same things that all the other apartments offered at a more decent price. I didn't really feel like we were blowing all the money away on our living.
Yeah.
But I really like the area that it's in.
Okay. Talk to me about the area.
So it's like here on the side where like the Standard and Landmark is, it's near all the sorority and frat houses, and it's also near like a lot of the popular restaurants and like Starbucks and even some of the restaurants you can go to eat. It's a very busy area.
Right.
So I like how it was on this side of town where it was more so quiet and a little more dead, so that when you are on campus and you're amongst all the chaos and everyone being around, there's somewhere that I could go and just have peace, and I didn't feel bothered at all.
Right. So what are there's still a little bit over in that area, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are your favorite spots over there?
I like, there's a little coffee shop right below our apartment called Vigilante, and it's very quiet.
I went there this morning.
Yeah,
actually.
it's really good. I mean, right behind us is campus, so there are some buildings that like you can go to study if you don't want to be like right in the center of campus. But
are there like any like places to eat like in that area?
There's
like
McDonald's across the street from us.
Yeah.
But
like closer to like where Vigilante is, I feel like there's like a little shopping center over there, right?
Oh yeah, there I think it's under the Varsity. It's like a little strip mall of like different, I think they're just like small businesses like that are owned by families, but they seem pretty nice.
Yeah.
I've never been in them.
This episode is brought to you by Daydreamer Cafe, every college student's favorite coffee shop. Daydreamer offers handcrafted coffee, espresso, and my personal favorite, matcha, in a beautifully designed space. With a location opening on the ground floor of Rambler College Park in fall 2027, Daydreamer will be the perfect spot for Maryland students to grab a coffee or study with friends. But even sooner, you can catch a Daydreamer pop-up inside the Rambler leasing office in fall 2026. Be sure to follow Rambler College Park on Instagram for sneak peeks and updates. Let's go back to the View. And so you ended up there your freshman year.
Yeah.
What has your experience been like so far?
I love it. If I could choose to live there all 4 years, I would do it. I've gotten very comfortable there. I've gotten in a routine of how things roll, like as far as payments and what you need to do if you have a problem with utilities. So that aspect of it's really nice.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is me and my roommates have a dynamic for like our dinners. We're all on our own for like breakfast or lunch, but we all take a night for dinner because we have our own kitchen, so we get to cook.
Yeah.
So we all like make a little menu on our whiteboard of like who's making what for the week, and then we all have a turn, and so that way like it's not just one person making their own meal every 4 nights. It reduces on cost and time, and it makes it so much easier.
That's nice. Yeah. So you really wanted your independence, like going into college. So talk to me about how that has been instead of living in a dorm.
I think it's helped with like learning how to pay bills. Like I have to actually go online and remember to pay it by a certain day.
Yeah.
If not, you get charged extra, so no one wants that. I like how, I know like in dorms sometimes you aren't able to have like a certain amount of people over, or past a certain time they can't stay. So I like how anyone can come and go as they please. We can have as many people as we want come over, and obviously we still have to be respectful of other people, but you have your own living where it's not as close to everyone else.
Do you guys host a lot?
Here and there.
Yeah.
We typically go to other people's places, but just like a big thing is like having our own space, so that if we want to hang out with just like our friend, then we can go and be by ourselves. We don't have to be, everyone's just not on the same place.
Yeah. And what was that transition like, going from, being the oldest of 4, like having a big family, being like in a room with your sister to now living alone? Like, what was that transition like?
It
Was
was
it easy?
hard.
Okay, yeah, okay.
It was really hard just because I was used to someone always being there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get used to the dynamic of like, you're on your own now. Like, you're not always going to turn and someone's going to be there. Like,
Yeah.
you have to make it on your own. So
Mhm.
that, I think that was good, is like transitioning into becoming an adult. Because
Right.
ultimately, like, that is what you're doing. So
Yeah. Do you think that it would have been the same if you would have lived in a dorm versus an apartment?
I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I think about that often just because, like, a lot of people do ask me, like, do you wish that you were able to experience what it's like being in a dorm? And like, when I came for orientation, you could choose to stay overnight or leave, like, after one day. And I chose to stay overnight just to be like, oh, like, I'm not getting the dorm dynamic. So I'm given the opportunity, why not? And I hated it. Like, I hated the communal bathrooms.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of coming back and someone random I didn't know being there.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, thinking of like the one chance I did get,
Mhm.
I don't wish I did it.
Right.
But hearing off of other people's experiences of like, if you ever needed anything or anyone to listen to you or just like anything, someone was right there.
Yeah.
And I still get that dynamic of being in an apartment with 4 people, but I think now that we're faced with more independence, they're not there as much.
Right.
So that is harder.
Yeah. So talk to me about making friends your freshman year. If you weren't like in the dorm, like sharing a room and with everybody, like did you join clubs or organizations? Like how did you put yourself out there?
I tried to join clubs that were more tailored to my major so that I really became comfortable with the people that I was constantly going to be around.
Yeah.
Because hearing and speech is such a small major that, like, today, my classes, one of my friends, I was literally with her all day because it's just so small.
Right.
The requirements are so little.
Yeah.
That it's really good to be able to get to know who you're around if you ever do need help or you need to collaborate on something. So I try to join clubs that ultimately would help me in the long run.
Yeah. Do you have any advice or like tips for like an incoming freshman who wants to make friends?
I would definitely try to immerse yourself in as many extracurriculars as you can. I know it's hard because classes have such a high demand of work after class,
Right.
but whenever chance you can get, just go and find things that really are your calling and that you'll really enjoy and that don't feel like a waste of time.
So you mentioned classes being demanding. Do you have any advice or any tips on how you stay organized and how you balance like social life with school?
I love a good calendar. I am very big on being able to write down everything that I have to do and being able to physically check it off and be like, okay, like you at least accomplished something for the day. Because I'm very organized. I'm very particular about things.
Yeah.
And if I feel like I haven't gotten things done for the day, it'll drive me nuts. So being able to look back and be like, well, you got this done for the day. Like at least you did something.
Yeah.
That's really helped, especially with just like feeling confident, like I got the hang of college and how everything works.
Yeah. So going back to living at the View, is it an older apartment or is it a newer apartment?
I think it's a little older compared to the ones closer to Greek Row. Like they are definitely.
Yeah. And how is like living in like an older build?
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I still like I love it. I don't really have any problems there. If you like, we did have a few problems last year, I think, with our washer and dryer unit, but they fix it right away and they gave us a brand new one.
Oh, nice.
Like they're really quick to just come in, fix it, and leave. Like,
yeah.
You never know that they were there.
Yeah. Is it a big apartment or are there a lot of
There's
people?
2 buildings.
Okay.
So I think the one that is the first building is the older one, and then the second building's the newer one.
Earlier you mentioned about using the amenities like the gym and everything. So talk to me about having that because you wouldn't have that in a dorm.
Yeah. So In the dorm, you'd have to walk to the gym that they have on campus. But for us, in the first building and the second building, there's a gym. So it's nice to literally be able to walk right downstairs and it be there. And if one's busier than the other, you can always go and see which one has more space for you. So that's really nice. I like having, like I was talking about, my own washer and dryer right in the apartment.
Yeah,
so you don't have to walk to the room and fight over someone to put your stuff in. And if someone hasn't put their stuff in the dryer yet, like, you don't have to do that for them. So that's really nice. And I like having my own kitchen. I like being able to make my own meals.
That is nice.
Definitely.
You guys have a pool?
Yeah, we do. Okay. But unfortunately, it's not open really when the college students are here. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
When is it open? Like, only open in the summer?
They open it Memorial Day weekend and they close it Labor Day weekend. So it's like when not many people are here.
Right.
But there's still like a patio area where you can go lay out and go up and do work. So I use that a lot once it started getting warmer out.
Did you stay during the summer between your freshman and sophomore year?
I didn't.
Do a lot of people like?
I think if they're doing a summer semester, they do, but I don't think, or if they're doing an internship close to the area, they do. But
did you have your lease through the summer?
Yeah, that is the only thing that, like, even if you aren't staying, you do still have to pay for your rent because I think our lease is August to August.
Okay.
So
is it like that in the dorms as well, or does it end like when
it ends right when the semester ends? So I know, like, when you go on winter break, they do specify that you're out by a certain time, and then you're not allowed to come back until a certain time.
Okay.
And then the same thing, like, right before summer, once you're done, like, they do like that people leave.
Yeah, so you don't really have an option. Like, if you wanted to stay like in College Park over the summer and you're in a dorm, you don't really have the option to stay.
Right, unless you were enrolled in a class, like, through the college.
Okay. Do you guys have like classes over winter break or?
Yeah, we do. We have a winter semester.
Okay.
So I think that it would apply to students as well, like, if they were doing that.
So that is definitely like a pro of living in an apartment.
Yeah.
Is you don't you don't get like kicked out.
Right, because, like, over the summer, there were a few times that I wanted to come up across the bridge and do things around the area, like go shopping in Annapolis, or even, we're pretty close to some of the places in Virginia. So I would be able to go there and be able to come and stay if I didn't feel like driving back home.
So you guys ended up renewing for your sophomore year. So talk to me about when y'all started to make that decision. Was it pretty early or was it later?
We were actually pretty late because we did consider possibly moving somewhere else if we could find it at a cheaper rate.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the View gave us the best pricing. So we did decide to stay, but we didn't sign, I don't think, until like February or March.
Wow.
We were cutting it close.
Yeah. Would you say that's pretty late?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people, like, I already know a lot of people have already signed their lease for, like, next school year.
Wow.
So everyone's already thinking about whether they want to live in an apartment or a house, or they still want to stay in the dorms. So everyone pretty much starts thinking about it, like, when we start school.
Yeah. And you guys were debating maybe moving somewhere else. What other places were you looking at?
A lot of apartments, more so, like, on the side of town where all the sorority and frat houses are.
You were considering coming over to, like, the Landmark Standard side.
Just because my one friend that I live with, she is in a sorority, so it would have been a little more convenient because she wouldn't have to walk all the way back.
Right.
And ultimately, like, a lot of us do have friends that live on this side of town, so it would have been more convenient. But I think we just decided to stay because like I was talking about earlier, you're able to just come back and regroup and collect yourself from all the, like, chaos,
social interaction.
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, when I come back home, I feel like my social battery is drained and I just want to, like, go somewhere where I know no one else is going to be.
Yeah. So it came down to price for you guys.
Yeah.
When they sent you your renewals, did they, like, raise the rate at all or did they keep it the same?
No, ours actually stayed the same. And then
Is that rare?
I don't think so,
Okay.
because our lease for like next year came out and it is the same.
Okay.
So that's really nice. I think that they do like keep their word for all their residents, that like once you get a certain rate, like it will stay that way. And we actually were able to get a cheaper rate this year because of our utility problems last year.
Oh, nice.
That we just reached out and we're like, hey, we had issues and feel like we paid a little more than we should have. And they took out, I think, over $100 a month, which really makes a big difference.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It was really
Hacks.
Yeah.
If you have
if you have problems,
yeah,
go tell them.
Landmark College Park is a premier student apartment located just steps from the University of Maryland. With floor plans ranging from studios to 4 bedrooms, Landmark offers spaces designed for every kind of Maryland student. And with Dunkin' on the first floor, your daily dose of caffeine is right downstairs. Plus, with the College Park Metro Station, local restaurants, and campus hotspots just steps away, everything you need is within reach. Use code BEST4 when you apply to get your application fee waived. That's code BEST4, BESTFOUR. So, have you already started thinking about next year, your junior year?
Yeah. Me and my roommates are still going back and forth. I want to stay just because once I find somewhere that I'm really comfortable with, I just would like to keep it that way.
Yeah. And moving kind of sucks.
Because then you have to figure out, like, that is the other really nice thing is once you have a lease and you re-sign, if you're already in the building, you can keep whatever you want in your apartment.
So they don't like move you out at all?
Mm-mm.
Even to like clean the apartment? Like
you can request to not have them clean it. So like me and my roommates just made sure to do a deep clean like at the end of last semester, and then when we came back for the new one. So that's just what we did, and no one came in our apartment. Everything was left untouched. That's really nice.
That is really nice.
Then you don't have to worry about getting a storage unit or hauling everything back home.
Is that pretty like customary for like the apartments like in College Park, or do other colleges or other apartments kind of like make people move out and then have to move back in?
I think they let people stay.
Okay.
I haven't really heard of people having to worry about moving everything out unless they were transitioning to somewhere new.
Right. Yeah. Right. So you mentioned that you and your roommates are kind of going back and forth. Like, what do they want to do?
It's definitely the same debate as last year. Like, do we want to stay on this side of campus versus the other side? And just thinking about what works best for everyone. So that is hard, especially when you're out weed.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on like a house.
I would consider it. The only thing that kind of scares me is if you have a problem, you have to fix it yourself. Or, I mean, like, you do have a landlord. I guess they could come, but I don't know that they would come at the earliest convenience if an apartment would. That is definitely, like, a major thing is if you need something, they're coming in at least 1 to 2 days, if even that. Like, they
landlord or the maintenance?
In the apartment.
Okay,
like, they try to do it at their earliest convenience. Yeah. So that's really nice.
Yeah. Anything else like that makes you nervous about houses? Or
last year we did look into a house, and it did come out to be a little cheaper per month, like paying for rent. But I think the really scary thing is like you are really on your own. Like it is the people in your house. Like at least in the apartment, you still are able to meet people on your floor or even other floors, just like whoever you want to meet in passing. Yeah. But I feel like once you're in a house, you're stuck. Yeah. That's where you are. And then you're also faced with having to drive to campus because I know they don't have many houses like in the area that's walking distance.
Okay. Yeah. So do you have a car?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. But you would have to drive and then would have to find parking on campus.
And sometimes they don't always accommodate what's closest to your classes. Right. So you could literally have to park all the way across town.
Yeah. And you have a lot of classes like back to back to back to back, right? Yeah. Like talk to me about like how you prepare for that because I know you have some spots and you bring snacks.
So once I know my like layout for the week, I typically just like to get up make sure that I make a really good breakfast that'll hold me over for a while, and then I'll pack snacks that'll do the same.
Yeah.
And once I leave the apartment, I don't come back until my classes are done.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Long day.
Yes. And I've managed to make my schedule so that once I go to class, I'm in class. I don't really have breaks in between, so that I can just do what I need to while I'm out and then come back home when I'm done.
Nice. What are some of your favorite spots on campus to kind of hang out?
I do like ESJ.
ESJ, yeah.
Yes. I just love how bright it is. When it's sunny, it feels really bright. And even when it's rainy, like it's so comforting and really cozy in there. So I do like there.
Your spot.
Yeah. And Stamp is sometimes nice. It does get a little loud because that's where like all the food places that they have, like Chick-fil-A and Panda Express and Starbucks.
Is Stampa like a building? Is it a dining hall, or are there classes?
It's not
there?
No.
Okay.
It's just like where they have food, and then that's where they have our bookstore too. So it is a very lively environment.
Yeah.
So if you want somewhere for quiet, it's definitely not there.
Okay.
ESJ's also more of a lively environment because people really like the building. So I think some people do just go in there to hang out.
Yeah.
But I use my apartment study rooms a lot.
Okay. Talk to me about those.
They are soundproof, so like they have the glass sliding door, and obviously if it's open you can hear things, but they're really quiet in there, and they give you enough space where you can sit with a few people or by yourself, and you have a whiteboard to use.
Nice.
It's really nice.
Yeah, and so that's like a great perk, like to have that amenity.
Yeah, because I mean, not everyone's going to be there. I mean, it's really only the people that live there that use it. So you don't have to, they're limited in how many they have, but you don't have to worry about trying to beat someone to getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you feel like you want to stay at your apartment for junior year.
Yeah.
What about like senior year, like looking ahead?
I know my other two roommates will have graduated by then. So
yeah, like what?
I know.
I thought about it.
Well, my semester will be cut, or my year will be cut short because I want to graduate early.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I've really been going back and forth. If I were in an apartment by myself, I'd have to sublease it for the spring semester.
Right.
So that's really hard about being in an apartment and even a house because like once I graduate, if I don't want to stay here, then it's kind of hard to think about, well, where am I going to stay for the semester?
Yeah.
I can't. But that's really hard.
So would you consider living alone, or do you think you'll get a whole new batch of roommates?
I would probably consider living alone before trying to pull everyone else into it because I wouldn't want to put them in the situation of possibly having to live with someone they don't know.
Yeah. So I'm curious how your parents felt about you living off campus your freshman year. Like, were they on board? Did you have to try to convince them a little bit?
I originally had the idea of trying to live in the dorm, like in a single, and we looked into it, but they were kind of nervous about that because they didn't want me to be alone my first year in college.
Yeah.
So that is definitely like a good dynamic of whether you're in a dorm or in an apartment, like definitely having someone there because it does get lonely at times. It's a really big change in your life.
Yeah.
So having someone that you can really rely on to talk about everything is really good.
Yeah.
But they definitely liked how I would be with 3 other people. So that was a big thing.
Yeah. And then once you were like, hey, I found this apartment, I'm going to be with my friends, they were like, yep.
Yeah. And they loved that I knew the people too. And it wasn't someone like a stranger.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were really comfortable with that.
So talk to me about not having a meal plan, because most freshmen that live in the dorms, you have to have a meal plan, right?
Yeah.
So instead of having that, you cooked all of your meals. So was it about the same price? Was it a little bit more expensive or cheaper?
So far, I think it is cheaper just because the minimum plan here, I believe, is $3,000.
Wow, yeah.
And
Is that a semester?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that there are some meal plans where you can have like guest passes, and if you don't use all of them in one semester, they go over to the next. But I think having a meal plan in an apartment would be convenient if you have time in between classes to eat. But it all just depends on how you set up your schedule. For me, I wouldn't really have time. It would either be before class or after class, and at that point, I might as well just wait until I get home.
Right.
So I just make sure to get up in the morning early enough to be able to eat a good breakfast and pack enough food to bring with me throughout the day. And then once I get back, I make sure to eat a good dinner, and I've made it out to be really good.
Yeah. So who would you recommend off-campus living to?
I don't think I would recommend it to freshmen just because I think it's really important for everyone to have the experiences. I do think I missed out on a lot more because in an apartment, I was tempted to go home a lot more because I had the opportunity to. I had my car, I had my own space. So I think that I was more tempted to go home a lot more. Whereas if I were in a dorm, I don't think I would have.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier in the episode that people ask you a lot if you would go back and do things differently. So I'm curious, would you go back and live in a dorm your freshman year?
I've thought about that a lot. And some days I think like, oh, I think I would maybe like it a lot. And then if I feel like if I've been surrounded by too many people all day, I'm like, if I had to do this and then go back to more people, I don't know that I'd love it. So I don't have a solid answer. I go back and forth a lot about it.
So just kind of wrapping everything up, looking back, I mean, you're a sophomore, so you've only been here a couple of years, but what is something that you wish you would have known about like housing at UMD before coming to school here?
Definitely just like having a full layout of all the pros and cons. I know a lot of places are only going to list what's really good.
Yeah.
But just being able to see what you're faced with in one place versus another, I think is really helpful for people to be able to make their ultimate decision.
Like a dorm versus an apartment?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me like a couple of pros, a couple of cons of like living in an apartment.
A big pro is being able to have your own space to be on your own. Being able to do everything without having to rely on other people affecting you. A con is you're more farther away from things. You aren't all the time surrounded by the school environment.
Yeah.
And some people really like that and some people don't. I know a lot of people do come to college for the experience of constantly having people there, always having a very uplifting and lively environment. But I would say that living in an apartment has been more of a positive than a negative.
Yeah. And if you could give one piece of advice to an incoming UMD student, what would it be? Doesn't have to be about housing.
Find somewhere that feels like home. That was my biggest thing, is I just wanted to be somewhere where I was comfortable and I could be my true self, and I didn't feel like I was judged for how I was acting, and find a good group of people that make you feel loved and that you can show your true colors.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story with me.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys next time. Bye.